Yo, 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 we're starting our mirrors up, ladies and gentlemen. This is Cosmonarchy, the most ambitious project ever made in Starcraft. It's a whole new game in Brood War's engine. It's got 50 units per race, no upgrades or researches. Instead, you just got scale of choice, and you upgrade with your goddamn tech. And that's epic. Also epic is this TVT we're about to watch between TopRamen and Eud64. Or maybe it's Eud or Eud. I'm honestly not sure. Maybe we'll ask him. So we have Eud64 in the top left and TopRamen in the bottom right. This is Germination, of course, this map by BiddyB. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about some Cosmonarchy, some goddamn games. We've been seeing a crazy amount of growth lately. Lots of people joining the server. We're pretty close to 500 Discord members. So if you want to pump those numbers up and get handy and what would you call it? Like familiar, I guess. Get gregarious with the community. Getting gregarious with Pronogo. Come on into our Discord server, man. There's always a link in the description. And yeah, it's pretty fun. You know, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Cosmonarchy is pretty fun. It's very different. Looks like Jack Yelansky is here as a Zerg player who is chilling like a villain, spectating these two Terrans. Now we do have the Stockade opener for EUD, and TopRamen has the Fulcrum coming up online. I'm very excited to see what happens here because EUD, I've been told, has been trying a lot of bio, and with mixed results. I think he thinks that Mech is better, from what I've gathered. And it looks like we have the scouting, but I think EUD forgot he was scouting his opponent's base. I'm not really sure what happened there. He's going to go for the Mavericks. This is before the audio-visual update that actually gave them a visual read for Stim Pack, and also an audio cue for when it expires. So just note that if you play it now on Cosmonarchy's release or pre-release, you will see better reads for those. Second Fulcrum coming behind this. TopRamen not going to actually queue up a unit out of his Fulcrum for some time because of this, so maybe an unoptimized build. And the bio should be able to catch this Mason as well if EUD wants to go for it. Looks like he'll allow it to escape though. And I guess this is probably like one stockade quarry build. Yep, there's the quarry. So for those who don't know, the quarry is essentially a secondary worker production queue, and it takes as long to make as it takes to make two workers. Very similar to the Comstat station in terms of build time relative to worker count. So you'll slow down your worker production by 2 workers, and then after that you'll be able to reproduce, produce additional workers. So that is going to be a pretty big difference maker here. He's got a consolidated number of Mavericks, so he should be more than capable of dealing with the Vulture. Ooh, oh, look at that. Missed opportunity to kill that Mason. Early game micro, needing a little bit of something there from TopRamen. But yeah, the Vulture won't be able to get in here and do anything. So the bio going to work out. And he was also building a treasury. Oh, here it is. I was wondering where it was. So he's building a treasury, which is sort of like a tempo play you can do. It's a much more vulnerable structure than the Ministry. You can see it has like half the health almost, and it has 1 less armor as well. So it has 3 armor instead of 4, and that adds up quite a bit to being a little bit more vulnerable in the early stages of the game. So what is the response from TopRamen? He's just going to go ahead and try to mass up extra vultures. The cliff advantage here, by standing on a ramp, you get +2 weapon range aiming down, should allow EUD to deal with that. And TopRamen also led with the low HP Vulture, but he did interrupt the anchor in construction, so this could actually be something that he can bust. However, losing that extra Vulture for no good reason, that's a little unfortunate. So you can see here the Vulture's dealing 20 damage and the Maverick has 50 health. So that means you need 3 Vultures to instantly hit instantly break a Maverick. Vultures don't deal concussive damage. We don't have damage types. Instead, we just have armor and armor pen. So they're actually going to be doing okay damage to this anchor if they try to push for it. But it doesn't look like TopRamen wants to do that. He's built a watchdog over here. He's going to lift that up and use it as a scout. And meanwhile, off of just 1 production structure, EUD is going to go for a Vestry add-on. That's going to give him access to Clerics, the new Medic, and Shaman, a new healing unit. And the Stockade will also be over here. So what is the reaction here from EUD? He's going to see the Missile Turret Scout, right? The Watchdog Scout. And does he want to unload his anchor? Because if he does that, then it could be really dicey if there's like another run-by planning, right? And in fact, it looks like TopRamen wants to do that because he scouts the quarry. He's going to obviously know that there's a treasury here as well, or at least he should intuit that. And he's going to be aware that, oh, my opponent is actually macroing up a lot better than I am. He's going to have more workers. In fact, I feel like TopRamen should have less workers than EUD by more of a margin here. So even though the Watchdog moves away and gets zoned away by the Maverick, I also think that this has been a great success for him. He definitely knows what's happening here, and he can choose how he wants to respond. So far, it's to get the Palladium add-on, which is very expensive, and queue up a Phalanx for sieging. He's going to break the anchor, and that could result in EUD being in some trouble. So we'll see. He's getting a second vestry super early on. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. He's going to add Cyprians after that. Okay. Well, that's a thing. That's an option. Vulture's coming out here. So Cyprians provide more ranged fire support for bio. They will penetrate small armored units, and you can also burn armor down with the Hurakan, a fire bat replacement. So the Cyprian's like an entirely new unit as opposed to like a renamed and revised old unit. Like Cleric, Maverick, they all do different things, right? Like people wonder why we rename the units and stuff. The reason is, in large part, the old names were bad, but also these new names are more in line with what the new unit is in many respects, and they also tell you more about what that unit does and indicate to the player that something is fundamentally different about the unit. So the Phalanx goes ahead and deploys here. You're not going to be able to out-repair this, so he's going to have to lift that off. It looks like he's going to try to out-repair it, but he needs more than just that, and he's going to need to heal his Masons while he repairs it. So let's see what he ends up doing there. A second Phalanx is arriving, so that's going to be more than enough there. Looks like his other units are on hold position. Yep, okay. So he doesn't end up getting that done. Now he's got no anchor, so he's going to charge on forward, but there's a lot of vultures over here. The Cyprian's doing a lot of damage to the vultures, but they are definitely struggling here with everything else. Well, that sound was apparently Xbox Game Bar, which I have disabled in Windows settings, so I don't know why it made a sound or what it is doing, but I muted it. That was stupid. Anyway, the vultures are going to go ahead and move on a little bit closer here. EUD is in trouble. He's got a Hurakan out. If he can get that Hurakan onto the Phalanxes, we can start to have a conversation. But instead, he's mostly using it to clear the mines. He's not stimmed his Mavericks at all, which I've noticed here. That's a really good stun, though. That mine should have been cleared by TopRamen if he was going to continue on. And you can see the Cyprians are just going to be more than enough to clean this up. Now, he's only got the couple of units left over, but he kept most of his workers alive for that. And there's a stun follow-up there. The Phalanx not actually able to finish its form switch, so it was left with no armor. It's a cute little interaction we haven't seen before. And with 5 stockades, a 6th one on the way, it feels like EUD will be able to hold. It'll just be really messy. Behind this, we do have a Ministry and a Quarry, so we've got 4 worker production now for TopRamen. He can power up into the macro stage. And oh, that was a really aggressive mine. That's just going to freeze those clerics in place, and they will indeed be bopped. The Quarry, oh no, if he loses the Quarry, he's going to be so far behind in workers, and it looks like he will end up doing that. That's unfortunate. What more can we see out of EUD in this situation? Making 6 Hurakans at a time, the man knows how to make Nebelheim a fan. And honestly, aren't we all a fan of Ahmed? Just look at him, dude, he's awesome. This model was done by Solstice. Eventually we'll have a remodel for all those units, all the units in the game, eventually. Now, Ahmed does manage to deploy onto the Phalanxes, and that will be more than enough to deal with all that. But now TopRamen has taken the worker lead and the worker queue lead. So until we get a third base from EUD, he's going to be behind in worker queues, and thus probably behind in workers. But it looks like the push is well and truly over. We've got 1 Phalanx, 1 Goliath. That Goliath wisely gets pushed away. And now we've got a Ministry coming. So, okay, if this Ministry gets a Quarry, and this Quarry indeed finishes Reconstruction, then EUD will be ahead in terms of worker production. And then maybe he can catch back up. But also you get to a cap of workers, right? Like, this is a pretty well-saturated base. You take the mineral field count, which is 8, and you multiply it by 2 for 16. And, oh, this is funny. Then you have 3 for each gas node, right? So it looks like actually TopRamen is undersaturated on the ridge, but he should have the gas fully saturated. He's going to go ahead and drop his tier 2, getting his Atlas up before his opponent. His opponent instead choosing to go for the extra base. So see how that one changes up. So yeah, it's 18 plus 6 basically, if you count the gas nodes, right? And then beyond that, I mean, if you add a couple extra workers, like 25, you're very slightly oversaturating insofar as the extra workers are half as efficient, but you're still going to get some mileage out of them, right? So you always get a little bit of extra mileage for the first, like, I guess the third string of 8 workers, because the first 2 are fully efficient, and then when you add 8 more workers to the mineral line, you're talking about half efficiency. After that, though, don't bother. It's not that important. Now, you can always transfer them to a new base, so they can be useful. All right, I don't know about this Phalanx. Yeah, unfortunately, the Phalanx is not serving too well versus the bio. There's the stim pack coming in from EUD. He's going to be able to jump straight onto this, and yeah, suddenly the bio looking like maybe it can work out versus Mech all of a sudden. The Cyprians providing that fire support. They did take a very favorable engagement down the cliff, so that definitely helped. Now look at this, the counter Watchdog Scout confirming what we all know, that TopRamen only now put down his base. So yeah, at the end of the day, if this gets a quarry, we're going to be at even worker queues, which is really funny to me. Oh no, there's nothing over here to hold this attack. Ahmed will not be stopped. Okay, I guess that one will. And that one too. And that one 3. But besides that, he'll not be stopped. And yeah, I'm not so sure, man. Looking a little bit dicey for TopRamen. I mean, he's got a bunch of phalanxes, so he should be able to hold, but it's still looking a little bit spooky. Oh no, this is really big. That was 4 clerics going down at once. There's no more healing now. That's unfortunate. Well, putting down the quarry, adding more stockades. No tier 2 in sight, interestingly enough, and we do have interesting... Okay, here's something cute. We've got the quarry training Talos as the advanced worker, as more and more mech units are being shooed away. Looks like the bio will evacuate, shutting down the 3rd base. Love to see it. So instead, that treasury ended up moving over here, where it can benefit, at least harvest the gas using the Talos, right? He can even cap it with that Talos. Now, 12 o'clock being taken a little bit off-center there by Eud, but he's going to take it nonetheless. He's got so many stockades. I'm sure this style evolves over time, because this is a game that was played like 10 days ago, I think. So a little while ago. But it's definitely interesting to see somebody go for bio. And, you know, we just have never seen people try pure bio before, so it's quite interesting. Man, quarry on everything over here. And the ministries being the outer lying bases as well. That way, if they come under attack, you'll have time to defend them. And as a broad picture, like, you are a little bit more mobile than mech armies with bio, because you don't need to, like, stay in one spot and, you know, entrench your forces, like the phalanx or whatever, and lay down the mines and stuff for, like, maximum combat efficiency, like the mech army does, right? So, you know, you can afford to be able to react a little bit slowly or whatever. Again, this is a little bit off-center, but whatever. He's got the gas, and most of the minerals are going to be fine. Look at this, even taking another base off the back of this. So definitely keeping it going. Sentinels being put down on the high ground over here. That's going to be a big problem for the bio units, I feel like, but maybe I'll be surprised. Sieging to try to splatter all of these Cyprians. It will absolutely work. Oh, but are they going to be macroed back? Not so sure. Oh, that was a big hit. All right. And the Sentinels wiped up all the Mavericks. Yeah, I guess that wasn't so surprising. Oof. All right. I mean, 2.6k minerals, 1,200 gas. He's got his Atlas. What's he going to do with all this money? That's my question. A lot of idle workers over here. He's going to task them up, surely? Maybe? Oh, I see. He's building captaincies at this base. You know, that makes sense. You use your extra real estate. Throw down a couple of captaincies. He's going to stick to the bio drill, I guess, is the point of everything. He was going to take this base, but it looks like he hasn't decided to pull the trigger on it just yet. Capping some geysers, I saw. Yeah, there we go. Capping the one in the natural. Capping the one in the 4th at 12 o'clock. And his main. Will he do his 3rd as well? I think he skipped over his 3rd. All right. Meanwhile, over here, TopRamen doing his best to saturate all of these mineral fields and use the Taluses for it. They harvest a little bit faster, right? They move faster, so there's that as well. And here's the ministry in the top right. 6 captaincies. My guy. And putting some sentinels of his own over here on the high ground. So now we enter into, you know, the turf wars are over. Now it's just, how long are we going to sit here and watch our homies, our Terrans, try their hardest to out-macro each other? And, you know, Eud has spent all of his money. So there is that. He's getting Tinkerers, Towers, and Guild Halls as well. Dude, this man is experimental. And some people will just call him mental, but I'll say experimental. Got a couple ant seals here, or at least one ant seal. I like the ant seal, actually. So if you go for ant seals, right, it creates this bubble effect that, like, redirects weaponry and stuff. Versus phalanxes, it's not so great. Versus sentinels, it's probably not so great either. But, like, just allowing you to take a couple extra hits before your army actually dishes out its stuff is pretty good. And I think yeah. Okay, apostles are coming out. The significance of the apostle is that it provides you with basically a force multiplication where you add it to your army and the units will revive after that fact. So we're going to have sirens for range, apostles for keeping your units alive, madcaps for general damage, Olympians as well, Heracles for face tanking. Dude, What if bio is really good? What if? Question mark. Now this is obviously tier 2 bio, and this is just tier 1 bio with his 6 goddamn stockades. Not a single covenant in sight, but that's okay. Love to see some shamans or something as well. Although versus the burst damage of the phalanx, it's not so good. But okay, 8 Hurricanes in a Trojan. He's gonna see if he can unload it right here. Now, if this was further back, I would actually expect at least like 4 or 5 of them to get out. But as it stands, I think this will end up being like 3 get out. That's my prediction. Of course, it's another Corey. Who needs any other add-on? Top right now being taken. So, listen, macro-wise, EUD looking really nice. TopRamen, however, I think he's thinking of like a 4-base timing or something. He saturated out the back base. What's he going for here? He's thinking about something. It's a watchdog all the way over there. All right, and looks like I was correct, I think. Yeah, there's only 3 Hurricanes. Oh, is there only 2? Looks like 2 got out. So never mind. I was a little bit more favorable than I should have been. Still killed a lot of Masons. Hurricanes are pretty good. We've got some Striga as well for frontliners. Yeah, this is just a hodgepodge of bio units. Another Trojan lying in wait. Got to spend that money. Another one comes in. Oh, Ahmed. They all blew up. But he does scout that this base is being taken, right? And meanwhile, there's a couple Taluses over here, but he hasn't taken it himself. So that's something that he can use to his advantage here. Knows that his opponent is effectively on 4 bases relative to his 5. So he takes a 6th. That's his response. Man, there's a lot of Phalanxes, a lot of Goliaths, and even some Ramses for good measure. Ramses are pretty good units. I think they have 3 armor pen, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, so they penetrate Goliaths and stuff. They don't penetrate Olympians, though. Got some Autocrats out. Watchdog finally gonna be heckled to announce the move out. So here's the tier 1 move out in response. A couple of other tier 2 units mixed in as well. Basically the first wave of infantry going to come out here. And it will absolutely be able to bust the Sentinels. Now we have Watchdogs coming instead. That's not going to help you out too much. Bunch more units massing up into the middle of the map. Oh wow, I missed a lot. Don't worry, you can't miss in Cosmonarchy. We removed RNG. Even under Carapace Swarm, you're still hitting. You're just hitting the swarm to reduce its HP. And then it will dissipate. You know, like a game that is actually sensible. So, Mass Tank, Mass Goliath. This is Mech. This is Mech right here. This is literally Bio versus Mech. And we've got Daedala. We've got... Alright, we've got tier 3 coming. Hey, yo, little did he know. It was. Alright. So, TopRamen, typing while he moves, he's going to scout and see 42 Masons idling in the upper right area. A single Heracles. Oh my god, it got absolutely shellacked. I don't think even its mother could identify it after that one. Whoa! The Anseal redirect! The Anseal redirect, holy shit! That's crazy. I had never seen that. That's a clear bug before. We've never seen that happen before. Autocrats trying to start reviving some of these units on the front line. The Phalanxes are shellacking them, but look at the Sirens. The Sirens are keeping everything at bay. They cannot progress past the Siren firing line, and that means that the Phalanxes themselves are not able to get in on the action. So the Sirens are actually good, question mark, who would have guessed? However, I think a lot of their attacks may not have been hitting properly, so who knows? Or maybe they're not that good. It's also possible. Looks like some reclaimed units as well lying around in there. Now here's the problem, right? What are we going to do next? Tier 3 is on the way. He could go for diadems. Oh, look at that. A Madcap just gunned down that Phalanx. Can you believe it? Tier 3 started for TopRamen. EUD still trying to make the Bio Dream work. He's very heavily committed to it. Now there's no upgrades in Cosmonarchy, so it's not like, oh, I went all for my infantry upgrades and now I have no money. There's no point in getting my air units or mech units or whatever. But he is going to end up losing his captaincies, and that is a pretty big blow. So his production being sieged right now. He's got 3k minerals, 2k gas. He's definitely thinking about something. Now, if I'm him, I just start putting down a bunch of diadems as soon as my Daedala finishes. And it's about to finish! Oh! It's finished. So what's he start? It's Iron Foundry time, apparently. He's got to grab a couple of those. Where is he building them? Oh! Okay. Dude, he put down 5 of them? 6? 7? 7 Iron Foundries. Dude, are we going to see Mass Paladin? Are we going to see Mass Paladin? Is Luciferius going to be happy? Well, probably not, because... Well, honestly, versus this army, Paladins would do pretty good. But I think if the Phalanxes are able to deploy en masse, then maybe not. I like the idea of making more Hurricanes, for sure. Now, the Sentinels will be dismantled by the Phalanx, so that's not working out too well. And there were only 2 Sentinels anyway. Do we have any diadems? No diadems! Look at their cliff space over here. You can put down like 6 diadems over here and just annihilate this army entirely. It's double star pad. I wonder if this is mostly for drops. You know, again, your army is very immobile at this stage. It is Mass Paladin! My man! He's making 1 of every unit. He's like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to make 1 of every unit. And you know what? Why not? Get them Paladins out there. Now again, he still has these 2 bases that went completely undiscovered. So even though he's lost his production and he's lost 2 bases, he's actually, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's still even in base count versus TopRamen. So he's still in this game. Like, it might look really dire, maybe he even feels like it's really dire, but he's absolutely still in this game. Now, some more Phalanxes are going to arrive and see Iron Foundries, and probably be a little bit spooked. Now, I don't think... One of these Paladins will finish, but one of them will probably not. Oh, I don't know. The Iron Foundry does have a lot of oomph, a lot of meat. But yeah, I think this bottom one ends up dying. There's the first couple salvos being launched. That damage is going to start stacking up pretty soon. We even get a nice little null check. Don't worry, I already fixed that. Ah, the clerics are overhealing. I can't believe it. Is this what they meant when they said Paladins were not good? That was kind of underwhelming. Well, I guess they weren't all targeting in the same unit, but still. Trying to fall back. Phalanx is pushing forward. Cuirasses are out. Cuirasses take so long to die. Put them in against the Phalanx, quick. Ah, it didn't happen. No, GG's going to be called. Well, you know what? I still like that we saw some Paladins. And at the very least... Maybe that bug was stopping them from dealing damage, actually. That's really weird. But, you know, I said the same thing about the Siren. Maybe they just need to deal more damage. Comment below if Paladins should deal more damage. And I'll catch you guys in the next cast after that. Shout out to Eud for sticking to the Biodream for so long. I do think that if his play had been a little bit more towards, like, dropping and harassing and abusing the fact that his opponent's composition was very immobile, he definitely could have had a little bit more success. It kind of felt like when the attack came, the blobs just smashed into each other, and that's playing to the strengths of Mech. You want to be able to try to heckle them on their way out and like attack them at the extremities, guerrilla warfare style. Anyway, we'll see more from Eud64 pretty soon, and also the same for TopRamen, I would have to say. That was some TVT action for you. GG.